Okay, story time. And this is part 4 of our story series, My Haunted House. And I'm going to give you a timeline that this is now 2000. It's right after we moved in. And it is I want to say it was February, beginning of March. So it was after the police already came. And me and my sister. My sister is, to give a context, my sister is 8 years, because she's 39, I'm 33, 6 years older than me, sorry. And we grew up very close. We grew up like sisters. We fight like sisters. But she is technically my cousin, but I call her sister. So I have an older sister. And with that being said, she has 6 kids. She has a stepson that her husband had from a previous relationship, and she has 5 of her own. So, this was before my sister had the last 2 kids. So she had the original 4, is what I call them. My nieces, Natalia, Gracie, and my nephew, Grayson. I don't want to give their names because they are minors, and if they watch this channel, they gave me permission that I could. Well, I have permission to tell the story because it's mine, but I'm not going to give any names of family members because that's their story to tell, but I'm going to tell my part of it. So when we first moved into this house, like y'all know, we had to call the cops several times. The washer and dryer was going off without anybody being near it. So my sister comes and stays, and we are in the middle of taking pictures, and all of a sudden in the camera, or when we're looking at the pictures in the camera, there's like this white orb. Like, it's so bright and it's like moving like this, like Pac-Man, like do 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 do, or pinball. So we kind of didn't say anything to it, and I just kind of looked at it and I'm like, Mom, look at the picture. And there was like this white orb. And my youngest niece, I'm going to call her Elizabeth. So there was 3 girls and 1 boy. So at that time, there was 4 children. She did not bring the stepson because she just didn't want to. It was a lot, especially with 4 kids, and putting everything in the mix. It would have just been a rough trip. So my sister is passing a kidney stone, and she is not feeling well. And so my mom gives her the lemon concoction that helps me. And she's like, hey, here's the lemon concoction, blah, blah, blah. So at this point in time, my mom ends up giving her the concoction. And after we take pictures, the girls end up getting ready for bed. Everybody goes to bed. Nothing eventful happens at that moment. 2 days later, and I noticed that the girls are in my bathroom, and I am smelling strong nail polish. Like, it's so strong. And some of the nail polish that I had thrown out, I had since high school, so it was kind of old, and I was like, great, it's going to be a mess. So I go in there, and my niece looks dead at me, and this is Natalia, and tells me, you're in danger. Like, no emotion, and I'm just looking at her like, oh my God. So she keeps talking to the wall, and keeps like communicating with the wall, and having this conversation. I'm like, okay, she has an imaginary friend. And she's like, you're going to have a baby soon. You're going to have a baby soon. It's going to be a baby girl. And I'm like, okay, she's just trying to get a cousin out of me. Okay. I'm like, sweetie, I'm not married. There's no baby in there. So we go to dinner that night and we go to Cracker Barrel, and she says in front of the waitress, Topanga's gonna have a baby, Topanga's gonna have a baby, Topanga's gonna have a baby. And the waitress is like, congratulations. I'm like, I'm Topanga and I'm not pregnant. Their imagination, and I'm just brushing it off. And my sister's like egging it on, like, yeah, you should have the baby. You're getting older. You're going to be an old fart soon. Just going on. And my mom is getting furious. And so, at that point in time, we go back home, and the next day my niece is back and talking to my bathroom, and this time she's alone. There is no younger sister Gracie in there. It's just her, and she's carrying a full conversation. So at first I thought she was on my sister's phone talking to her stepdad. And I'm like, okay. So I go in there. I said, hey, I'm going to paint your nails, but let me go pee first. So I close the door and I sit down with her and I'm like, sweetie, what's your imaginary friend's name? She's like, she's not imaginary. She's real. I'm like, okay. And I just get this really bad, like, hair sticking up on the back of my head, like, on the back of my neck feeling. And I'm just looking like, oh crap, I do not want to know what is going to happen in the next few minutes. And she tells me again, you're going to have a little girl soon. You're going to have a little girl. You're going to be in danger, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And at the time, I do want to say that I was in a domestic violence situation with my ex. I do want to do a disclaimer really quick that domestic violence is never okay. And if you are in that situation, please get out. There are resources you can use. There are women's shelters. There are people you can talk to, like BetterHelp or things like that, to get in a better headspace. So back to my story. So at that point, my boyfriend calls at that time and we are doing FaceTime. And he sees a white orb, like going up and down like this. But it's big and white and it's just moving around. So I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't see it on my end, but he saw it on his. So that night, he tells me, hey, every time we do a he goes, you need to clean your screen, because every time we do a FaceTime, I'm seeing the white orb. And I'm like, okay, how much have you drank today? And I'm just joking around, and he goes, no. So he takes a screenshot of the conversation, and I can see the orb, and I'm like, okay, it may be just something on its end. It may be a connection issue. And I'm like, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So at that point in time, my mom is working from home, and she is working as what she does for a living. And she is doing a pretty good job. And we keep having issues with the internet, and we keep having issues with coffee makers going out, fridges going out, washer and dryers going out. In a matter of time span, our washer, dryer, coffee maker, and refrigerator all went out in a 6-month time span, and it was pretty pricey, but we did get new ones and we did get them replaced. Then a flood happens and our house gets completely flooded. Floor starts coming up, and at this time we had a housekeeper because my mom had severely injured her back and she was not able to do it, and I just didn't want to mess it up because I was like, I'm so scared. I don't want to do the wrong thing or put the wrong thing on the floor and have her pay all this money to get new flooring because I don't know what flooring to put, because we had like this fake hardwood, like the vinyl, but it was one where you snapped it into place and all that good jazz. So then we turn around and we're sitting there and I am crying at this point because I am seeing, and we always smelled the odor of like musty, like old, like I can't even describe the odor we were smelling. Well, the insurance gets involved and I end up having to stay in a hotel for about 4 or 5-ish months. So I was not even in the house for that time frame. They had to put new flooring down. They had to put take everything out and pretty much put in a new bathroom. So my bathroom did get remodeled. So after all this happened, we had decided that we were going to, I stayed at the hotel and nothing really happened at the hotel. It did get worse after we did the bathroom remodel for a while, and it was pretty bad. So then I turn around and it gets worse. I get shoved in the shower and I literally almost bite the dust. I ended up hitting my nose and it gushed blood everywhere. But that is a different story for a different day. But I hope you enjoyed this story. And I will tell you more about it. But just weird things have happened here. They have calmed down since we've had the house blessed. And nothing has really happened since the last time. And I'll go into detail more in the next video. Bye, guys.